Good morning, dear friends, dear brothers and sisters. Welcome to the monastery. How many of you, this is the first time in the monastery? Wow, quite a lot. This is my first time giving a talk in this hall. You know, I'm with two other brothers. We get this land. We used to live in Vermont, in Maple Forest and Green Mountain Dharma Center. But we are too far away from New York City, so we try to move down a little bit. And we're looking for the land to have a new monastery, a new settle for the monastery, so that we get closer to the people. And we got this in 2007, and we haven't had the hall yet. We built the hall in 2008. So the first year Thay was here, we have a Dharma talk in the big tent. And 2008, we finished this beautiful hall called Great Harmony. And I moved to different centers, so I have never had a chance to give a talk here. And I used to live in Vermont for 7 years. And when I come back here, I met in the retreat. We just have a retreat, 5 days retreat. I met many old friends. And I say, how come you don't give a talk in the retreat? I say, I will give a talk on Mindfulness Day. And I told them that they also say, how come you don't say anything in the Dharma share, in the Dharma share family? I told them that the more I practice, the less I want to say. Because when you really live it, you don't need to say anything. You experience life. So in your head, it doesn't have much ideas. So to say, it's really when it's really interesting, you know, like striking experience to share. But I don't need to create things to share. I don't need to think what to say, because it's only come from thoughts. It's not real life. So actually, the less we talk, is the better we practice. You know, sometimes we're stuck in our head, a lot of ideas, and overwhelming, and we just say. We talk a lot. We communicate, we socializing, but we don't know who we are. We're really lost. We're really lonely. I didn't try to say it to accuse anybody, but it's how I felt, you know. When I talk a lot, I mean, I'm lost. You know, I'm running around looking for people, socializing. I really lost. Or I was overwhelming with strong emotion or problems, or a lot of ideas. Or I want to show up that I know a lot. So mindfulness is something very simple. You know, mindfulness is like on a slideshow. It's the mind come back to the body and stay in the present moment. There you are feeling alive. And just by the way of breathing in and out. And right away you have the energy of mindfulness. So easy. And the energy of mindfulness is a state of waking up to the moment. Really alive. And you really touch life because you're really yourself. Mind come back to the body. That's whole. That complete. That state of being is really that deep and wholeness. But how come many times we cannot do it? It's so simple, but we cannot do it. Because we have a lot of ideas. We think too much. Because we have a lot of habit energy. We're running around like a rabbit. We cannot come home. Yeah, we have a habit of running, like a story, the story that our teacher usually told many times, that there's a man, suddenly he jumped on the horse, and he haven't turned his body to the front yet, the horse already take off. He's flying. And when the horse and the man on the opposite direction of the horse run by the next meadow, the neighbor say, "Where are you going so fast?" And the man on the horse say, "Don't ask me, ask the horse." Our mind is like that. It's just flying, just take off. And that's why we cannot, come back home. We cannot be ourselves. Something is stronger than us. The habit energy taking us away. So mindfulness is my home, my in the present moment. That is the classical Chinese. Very simple, nothing sophisticated. It's not a miracle, it's not a magic thing. You can do it. You embody mindfulness, the essential of a Buddha. And the Buddha declared that everybody have the Buddha nature. You have the capacity to be mindful, to be in the present moment, to be yourself, and touch blue sky, feel the sunshine on your body, feel the wind caressing your skin, feel that you whole, you are complete. You are not a lonely soul wandering around. Next slideshow. I think I have a remote control here. This is easy for you to understand. How come it doesn't work? Technology. Can somebody help me? They gave me this, I guess.
Wait back.
Going back? Okay, cool. So don't think that to practice mindfulness, to practice meditation is to see the heaven, but to end the suffering. Remember that. So we don't try to just touch the superficial joy and happiness, or looking for happiness, for peace, or heaven, to go to heaven. In the sutras, the many discourse of that they mention that when a practitioner practicing well, after he die, he born into the heaven. But I'm not believing it. For me, there's no heaven up there. Only space and, stars and the universe. So we practice mindfulness to take care of our suffering. Not to aim to reborn into heaven or a Buddha land or any promised land. Forget it. It's only an ideas, a notion, or maybe somebody just make it up. Because scientists, they could not find a heaven up there. It's just space and stars and vast universe. And you know, we experience suffering. Anybody here have no suffering at all? Can you raise your hand? I experienced a lot of suffering as a monk. That time I suffered so much. I almost, want to run away from monastic life. I almost want to run away from Sangha. Because living in Sangha is a challenge also. And also growing up as a young boy in the Vietnam War. So I touched a lot of suffering, despair, fear. My homeland is very close to the war zone. So we hear like jet fly across the land. Maybe they go to the north, bombing Hanoi. We hear guns fire. We hear fighting at night. So, as a boy, I was born in 1964, and Vietnam War is raged during that time. Until 1972, they ended. Not really ended, still killing a lot. And 1975, I see like hundreds and thousands soldiers were killed, and also children were killed everywhere on land, on river. And my family were escaped from the war, running away from war, and we don't know where to go. We just go into, in the middle of the river, vast river, or we run to the ocean. But soldiers are everywhere. They also run away from the war, Vietnamese soldier, American soldier, and they die everywhere. So it's a lot of suffering in me. And the Buddha says suffering is dukkha, is the feeling of burning like fire or like an active volcano. It's something real. A feeling of bitterness, in the tongue. When you have a lot of suffering, sometimes the tongue tastes like bitter melons, Have you ever feel that way? It's kind of bitter in the tongue. When we have a lot of fear, anxiety, depression, we have a kind of bitterness in our tongue. Suffering is a kind of heaviness in our heart. We feel kind of heavy, opposite to lighten. And suffering is a feeling of unsatisfactory in life. There are many things that we don't feel satisfied. And that is suffering. So to meditate means to take care of this, to embrace this. And the next one is how to take care of suffering. First, I'm going to sing a song for you before I continue. Oh, it's a little bit too boring. This song is a beautiful song. It also has to do with taking care of the suffering. And it's composed by, one of our sister, lay Dharma teachers, from a poem of our teacher. It's called I Hold My Face. When Thầy came to the West during 1966 to call for stop Vietnam War, and when he was in the state, maybe he gave a speech in Philadelphia about the reality of Vietnam War, so that he called for American people to tell the government to stop, to stop Vietnam War, to withdraw the troops from Vietnam, to end Vietnam War. And one young man stand up, in the middle of the talk. He say, "Why don't you go back to Vietnam and kill all Americans?" So he's like also, like peace activate, but they kind of, provoke it, be activate. He get angry, is his government, and he just want to kill all the Americans to punish the government policy about Vietnam War. And I think Thai feel a kind of shock and a kind of rage of emotion come up, and he wrote a poem. Maybe he practiced breathing in and out, embrace his suffering. Living in a Vietnam War like that, when you see suffering everywhere, people are killing, children are dying everywhere. It's a lot of suffering. And especially for me, a lot of fear. Everybody fear of death, right? So when you live in a time of the war, it's a lot of fear. I hold my face in my two hands. I hold my face in my two hands. My hands hollow to catch what might fall from within me, deeper than crying. I am not crying. I hold my face in my two hands. I hold my face in my two hands to keep my loneliness warm, to cradle my hunger, shelter my heart from the rain and the thunder, two hands preventing my soul from flying in anger. I hold my face in my two hands. I hold my face in my two hands, holding mindfulness shy to transform the suffering, shelter the flame from the windstorm that raged, warming my soul, where tomorrow may blossom in compassion. I hold my face in my two hands, my hands hollow to catch what might fall from within me, deeper than crying. I am not crying. I am in my two hands. So one way is when you get angry, you go like this. Put your hand on your face. So, and just to take care of your soul, your anger. Another way is when you have suffering, strong emotion, you go like this. You embrace yourself and you breathe in and out. So first we need to say hello We have to recognize our anger, our suffering. Any strong emotion, anger, frustration, upset, fear. Without mindfulness, we are subject to suffering. We are too vulnerable to this strong emotion. To say is so easy, but when in the actual life, when we have a strong emotion like anger, it's not easy to take care of it. And if we don't practice, like embracing it, hold it in, cradle it, we will provoke anger. We act out of anger. So say hello, recognize it, acknowledge it. And it's okay, to have anger from time to time. So a practitioner is like a doctor. And what happens that we diagnose our own problem, our own mental sickness. One of that is anger. Anger is very strong in every one of us. Violence also. Sometimes, we receive violence from when we are very young. From father, from mother, from people in society. And it becomes our own violence. And when we grow up, we also have the feeling, the volcano of violence. And sometimes it manifests in thoughts, in language, in action. The second thing to take care of suffering is to stop feeding it. Sometimes we feed anger, we feed strong emotion. By the way, we keep thinking of over and over it again. Like the cow, eat the grass and ruminate it. We sometimes ruminate our anger. The cow eat grass, chews a little bit, swallow, and later on is vomit up and chews it again. We are sometimes like that. We keep thinking about anger. It's very subjective thinking, very negative thinking. And the more we do like that, the more we want to punish. So actually we water in, the flame of anger in us. So stop doing that. Practice breathing in and out and embracing it. So that is a time where you breathe with it, embrace it. Embrace with the hands of mindfulness. And if a little bit overwhelming, you take a walk. You're walking outside. In nature, the energy of refreshing and healing, it can transform, it can change the state of your anger. Sometimes we don't have to do anything, just take a long walk. Some people get so angry, they run. They do physical things, but not pound the pillow. There's a technique of pound the pillow in the Western psychology, so that you ventilate all the energy of anger out. But when you eat food again, you get angry again, and you come punch. But for me, it's to taking care of it. It's like a baby crying. And when a baby cries, don't cry along because it's really exhausted. Can you believe it? When a baby is crying, what it needs is embracing it. The mother cradle. Don't cry along. Don't become angry. When you have a little puppy running around, you don't run around with the puppy because you'll be exhausted. Our mind is like that. Our mind is running around like a puppy. So take a walk. Walk for strong anger. Breathe it. Very simple, but we can do it. Breathing in, embracing my anger. Breathing out, I'm releasing my anger. The next one is to calm down. Breathing in, I calm my suffering, my strong emotion. Breathing out, I smile. To remember, anger is a flower. It's not your enemy. It's also a flower in the garden of your mind. So calming and smiling. When you really get angry and you see the anger like a flower, it's gent. It changes the attitude. It changes the mind. So you smile to your anger. Can you believe when you're really angry and you sit there breathing in, calming, hello, my anger, calming, breathing out, smiling, it's totally different. At least your face look different, Sometimes we're so angry, we cannot smile. So smiling is very important. Breathing in, calming, breathing out, smiling. Simple. So we don't want to learn something, philosophical teaching of the Buddha. We want something real, practical. To go home and really do it. Okay, the next one. Now we find, after calming, the first, this state of practices is called samatha. Meaning we stop the mind. Samatha means we don't stop life. We don't suppress anger. But we stop the ruminating of, negative thinking. We stop feeding it, to the anger. Blaming, judging, reacting. Or yelling or shouting. We stop that. But we don't stop anger. Because anger, it has its own lifetime. So remember, samatha means to stop the creation in our mind about anger, but doesn't mean stop anger. So this is to remove the practice of suppression, run away. But to breathe, to say hello, to recognize. So that's called samatha, remember that. Samatha means stopping the creation, the story in the back of your head. And it's rumor and it's creating more anger, more strong emotion. Stopping that. Just let anger lie itself, like a crying baby. Let anger like a volcano. Don't do anything, don't create anything. Remember, samatha is like that. Samatha doesn't mean that you really like a soldier suppressing anger. Samatha doesn't mean like you are a warrior, you go out fighting your own emotion. No. And the next one is, sorry about that. Next one is to see the roots of suffering. So this is the second part. When our mind calms down, we begin to see things deeper. So this first step, this step is very important. Is to calm down, make our mind clear. And the next one is to see a little bit deeper where this anger comes from, where this suffering comes from. And the first thing is unskillfulness. Usually in life, in family life, in society, or in community, we have a lot of unskillfulness. Out of awareness, mindfulness, we have a lot of unskillfulness. We behave in a way that we create the suffering for other people. But sometimes we don't know. So first is to recognize that it's just unskillfulness of our brother, of our sister, of our loved one. He didn't intend to make us suffer. Remember that. This is very important. And the unskillfulness here is sometimes is related to the difficulty in communication. We don't know how to talk well. We don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to share. And then we also don't know how to listen. When we share, we stick to our own ideas. Sometimes we share very strong. Like me, sometimes I share very strong. And I know I hurt other people. I don't know why, but my family are very strong personality. My father is like that. My uncles are like that. And my grandpa are like that. It's like that. And you know what? All my brothers and sisters are like that. Yeah. We are very strong, straightforward. And sometimes we hurt the other people's feeling, but we don't know. So listen to your way of sharing again. Listen to the tone of your voice. And we need to learn how to talk again. There's a story in Vietnam. There's a family who the wife wants to talk to the husband, and he is so angry, he doesn't want to listen. So he just, walk away from her, and she yelling up. And he gets so angry, he's shouting. And all the children, crying, and nobody listen to anybody, only the neighborhood are hearing. That is where the family are fighting. Father and mother are quarreling. And in Vietnam, we have a lot of that. From time to time, you hear one family, one house, like blow up like a bomb. And the whole neighborhood hear. So we have to learn again, how to talk, how to listen. Especially listening, we don't know how to listen. Usually we listen, but we talk a lot. Mentally, discourse. We talk in our mind. Maybe we don't say that, but in here, we talk a lot. So actually we don't listen. Or sometimes we pretend to listen, but like we fill up already, up to here. So actually we don't hear anything. So we need to practice to empty our mind and be able to listen again. Because living together, if we cannot talk, we cannot share, we cannot listen, it's so difficult. And what happens is bring nesting, is bring misunderstanding, misperception. We imagine inside about each other because we don't listen. We don't want to talk, so we imagine. You see, so then the second root of suffering is misunderstanding, wrong perception. On the first day of the retreat, my brother say, perception is deception. Why? Because he has a lot of creation in our own, imagination in our own mind. We add it up, we make it up. Maybe the other person doesn't mean that, but we think about that. That's why open communication is very important. Come and talk to each other. And we have to learn to have an open mind. That if you stick holding to your own way, nobody can talk to you. You think your ideas is, that's it. You close up. Nobody want to talk to you. So opening up is a practice of mindfulness. Actually, mindfulness is opening up totally. Mindfulness is not speaking in the head. Mindfulness is totally opening up. And we hear better. We hear the sound of the birds singing in the morning. We hear the sound of the wind go through the forest. We hear the bell clearer. We hear the other person clearer. without judging and reacting. Usually misunderstanding comes from the habit of judging and reacting. We are judging a lot. We are reacting a lot. And mindfulness is totally opening up. Just let the flower be itself. Let him be himself. Let him express his feeling and don't try to control. Let her do the same thing. And then we remove the misunderstanding and misperception. The third root of suffering is the seed. The seeds in our consciousness, in our mind. This is the garden of our mind. And everything comes from it's the soil of our mind, the seeds. We have thousands, millions of seeds in the mind, in the soil of our mind. And the main cause lies in the garden of our mind, the main cause of everything. Happiness, suffering, love, hatred, angry, forgiveness, they all lie deep in the soil of our consciousness. This is called the ground consciousness, alaya vijnana. So when we practice looking deeply, we need to touch the seed. We have to say, this anger comes from the seed. When I first came to Plum Village in 1990, during the time there's no monk yet. Only I remember only 3 sisters. Sister Chân Khong, Sister Chân Vi, and Sister Chân Đức. And we have another sister, Sister Thanh Lương, come from different temple, from United States. And we have Sister Chân Tu, Sister Đoan Nghiêm. So we have 6 sisters. 5 come from Plum Village tradition, and 1 come from a different temple. And no monks yet. And in 1990, there are 3 monks ordained. My elder brother, me, and my younger brother. We are the first 3 monastic monk side. And I work in the vegetable garden. So which means I turn the compost, turn the soil, plant the seed, and I work, I cook, I do almost everything. Because we have small community, so everybody doing almost everything. And there's one guy, his name is Francis. He's a French practitioner. He's a lay, but he doesn't do anything. Can you believe it? He only walk around, enjoy heaven, He just want to do practice. He doesn't want to do Sangha life. And when I work very hard, almost all day long. But the thing when we are small, our practice energy is also strong. Our service energy is strong, but our practice energy is also strong. We're a small group. But when we do sitting and chanting and walking, it's very powerful. I mean, more powerful than now. And I walk in the garden, and Francis just hang around enjoying the heaven. I get very angry. And I get angry a lot, but I don't know where it's come from. I know it's not its force, something deeper than this. And about 1 year later, I get angry almost every day. Can you believe it? This guy keep walking back and forth. And he want to eat cheese, he want to drink milk. Oh man, too much. He want good food, but he doesn't do anything. Of course, we only have 3 monastics. And we appreciate very much the lay brothers to come to the monastery. But he touched my seed. The way he want, it's just to practice. He didn't want to do Sangha work. Only he also in the rotation, because we have only 4 people. So 3 monks and Francis, can you believe, Upper Hamlet. So you got to be in the rotation. He cooked one day. And 1 year later, I have a realization. I saw my childhood when I was 8 or 9 years old. And at that age, I have to do all the housework. My elder brother and my sister, they hang around after school. I have to do all the housework. I have to cook. I have to feed the big pig. I have to go on collecting, leaf and wood to be able to cook the food for the family. So while I'm doing all that, clean up the house, clean up the garden, I get very angry at my brother and my sisters. But I don't dare to say it because they're gonna beat me up. So I swallow all that anger until I go to the monastery and the same situation come up and get angry. So I see the seed. First time I see the seed. For me, the seed is so vague because you don't see them. This is subconsciousness, something very deep. First time I see the seed. And the anger, frustration with Francis evaporated. Because it's not him, it's this childhood in my family. I worked so hard as a child, and my older sibling just hang around with their friends. It's not fair. But I realized there are many seeds like that, much more than that, especially fear. So we have to see, the seeds are the main cause of our own quality of our own life. Remember that. So we don't run out and blame other people and try to fix other people, but we try to transform the seed that we already received as a child. So this is very easy, and the practice is to transform the seed, to embrace the seed, the anger, so that it's weaken the seed at the bottom, in the depth of our consciousness. So suffering has its own goal. Suffering to see the seed lie deep in our consciousness, in our DNA, and be able to transform day by day all these negative seeds, all this violence, despair, anger, so that we be able to be, it's a better life to make the garden of our mind beautiful, blooming beautifully, holy, light, loving and kindness. And then the other part of the practice is to water in good seeds into the garden of our mind. So think positively. Our human behavior is we like to think negatively. Somehow it takes 5 positive thinking to equal one negative thinking. I mean, the negative thinking potential is overwhelming. Maybe we're born to be like that. We're born from Homo sapiens. We have a lot of fear, running away from danger, try to survive. We want to run after food, in order to survive. So we have a lot of fear for a long, long, long time ago. And that's why we have a tendency of being negative, So in the brain, the amygdala working a lot, to survive, fight or flight. When you see something kind of fearful, you want to protect yourself. Once, it's to fight along against, or to run away. So this is become a habit energy. And now we try to, to equalize by thinking positively. Thinking positively, see things positively, beautifully, and we chant the seeds. We chant the seeds in the garden of our soul. So, any question from here? Is this clear? It's so clear. Buddhist psychology is so deep, but it's so easy to understand. Listen. And the next practice is maybe we listen to one sound of the bell and continue. I'm almost finished. I talk a lot today, huh? The next practice is that we see happiness and suffering are the two faces of one reality. So happiness deeply connected to suffering. And when we transform suffering, it becomes happiness. It's like that. When we transform anger, become love. In Vietnamese, we say, giận thì giận, mà thương thì thương. When you really get angry, and when you go through it, you really love deeply. When you get really angry at that person, but once you understand, you go through the suffering, you love him deeply. And I have experience about this. I ordained with two more brothers. And my elder brother, he kind of short. He and me, we don't get along together. And we always have problem. I really don't like him. And actually, he doesn't like me. I don't know whether it's true, but it seems like he doesn't like me. And I don't like him at all. And we always think differently, He's more like very responsibility. I'm a casual guy, I just spend a lot of time and energy walking in the garden, and the rest is doing sitting meditation in the forest. And he like kind of checking around the monastery, take care of this and that. And actually later on, he become the abbot, the first abbot of Upper Hamlet, because he has that quality. He's a guy who is very responsible for what's going on in the center. I don't even care about this stuff. I only want to care is to get enlightenment. So I do a lot of sitting. You know what? I want to ordain as a monk to become a Buddha right away. So that's all I care. So I go to the forest a lot and do sitting meditation in there. Maybe you make tease of me. Sitting meditation, it doesn't get you anywhere. But when I first come to the monastery, my mind is very crazy. And I need to sit a lot. If not, I'm very crazy. And we don't get along. And he complained, I don't do, I don't take care of this and that. I don't get up in the early morning, drive people to the train station. I say, I'm busy sitting in the morning. I sit in the morning at 4:30 until 6. And I can't skip that. So we don't get along well, get very angry at him from time to time. And when I go through the suffering, the period of my time as monastic, I suffer a lot. In 1997, I suffered too much and my body is become wrecked. I fall ill easily. I get sick easily. So I left the community to go to States, to California, to take herbal medicine. And that is the time that I see myself more clearer. I can't think, because once I think negatively. So I can't think. One thing I can do is breathe in and walk in. That's all. And I'm really thinking about living monastic life, because it's overwhelming. But it's true, because after you practice for a while, your mind opening up. Layers after layers. And it's the kind of overwhelming with seeds of energy. It's just come from nowhere, from childhood, from Vietnam War, from this and that. So it's overwhelming. And I saw that all the suffering I have is in me, in the seeds that I receive in my life. From my family also. I have a good family, good mother, good father. But the environment where we live is in Vietnam War, so a lot of seeds planted in my consciousness. So for me as a kid, growing up in this country is fearful. So my mind is, it's not at ease, not peaceful at all, not open. And that's why when I live with this brother, I have a lot of problems. And when I left the community for healing, first time I see all my suffering. And he is not the one who created the suffering for me. And when I see all these things, I begin to feel a kind of love from him. Before I think he is the one who created suffering for my life. But now I see he is the one who really cares for me, cares for my life. Because he told me what about myself. So that is really a courageous act of deep love and care to tell the other person. But I was full of suffering, I don't listen to him. So when I go back, after 3 months of healing in America, I go back and I have a lot of gratitude and love to my brother. So sometimes, from anger, become love. When you go through anger, you feel the kind of love for him or for her. So remember that suffering and happiness is just like, compost and vegetable, compost and flower, mud and lotus. And to see this, we don't try to throw away anything. We want to keep everything, but we want to go through it. We want to practice taking care of the suffering. Look into the roots of suffering to see where they come from. So that we stop judging and blaming and dumping, projecting our suffering on others. First time I see suffering in me. That is the first time after 7 years as a monk, I see the suffering in me, 100% in me. The other person just trigger. What he say, what he do, it just trigger the seeds. Like it activates the seed, become energy in my mind consciousness. So suffering is garbage. Happiness is flower. Suffering is mud. And happiness is lotus. And our teacher have a sentence so beautiful that no lotus, no mud, no lotus. No garbage, no flower. So now we need to go back and really embrace our suffering. Don't try to run away from it. Don't look for joy and happiness outside. Sometimes we practice And we have to the place where we become so superficial. We just pretending that I'm okay, I'm a Zen master, I have overjoy, but actually we're running away from ourselves. Sometimes we want to people to see us, transforming, become important role, and we pretend to be happy. For me, the more we practice, the more we be truthful to our own suffering. We need to pinpoint the suffering in our body, in our mind. We have to be more humble and more simple. You don't need to pretend. You don't need to, to smile. You don't want to smile. It's funny that people say, I don't see you smile a lot. I say, I'm suffering. How can I smile? Because he know me when I was a novice monk. And when I was a novice, first 2 years like heaven on earth. Experience a lot of joy and happiness. So that, Bloom must smile easily. But when I go through the state of suffering, I can't smile. I can pretend to be smile, but in here is a mess. It's like burning, like bitterness and heaviness. It's difficult to smile. So be truthful, be honest to what we are. Important is transformation. There is a transformation in the practice. Not you have to be like this, you have to be like that. So now we come to the very deep teaching of the Buddha. It's called non-duality. Non-duality between suffering and happiness. Remember, suffering and happiness are not two, but they're also not one. Remember that. Non-duality means not two, but not one. So when you enter the gate of any temple in Japan or in China and Vietnam, some of the temples they have the gate called non-duality, bất nhị môn. Because we always get caught in one or another. But life is non-duality. You and your father are not two, but not one. Remember that. Deeply connected, but not two and not one. Same thing with suffering and happiness. So non-duality means that you are me and I am you. There is a very deep connection. There's no separation at all. And when I'm hurt, you hurt. I'm angry, you get my energy of anger. That's, it's real. Can you believe you live with your husband or your wife? If she is not happy, you get it. You feel it. It's expression in her face, in her body language, her speech, her mind, and it goes out. So deep down into our being, we are energy. So energy is, we go into each other. Energy exchange. Nothing lost. Energy is just exchange. And that's why non-duality is when we talk about the energy level. There's no separation at all. Maybe the body, physical body, is different, but when you reach the energy level, we are all together. We are like bound in like a mass of nets of energy. So you create suffering for him, you get it. You get it later on or right away. So non-duality is like that. So the father is the son and son is the father. Husband is wife. Husband is not different from wife, okay? Husband is wife. And wife is husband. And one person suffer, the other person get it all. So you smile for me to be fresh like a flower. And when you suffer, cry, despair, I feel wither. That's very clear. In subatomic, in quantum physics, that's how energy is bonding. It's affected deeply. Atomic force is strongest force than all. So to think that you are separate and do whatever you want, spill up a lot of anger, violence, you totally don't understand the nature of non-duality. You get it back. And like nowadays, people destroy the rivers, the forests. There are many species on Earth have been extinction, Especially in the third world, people don't really care about the environment. And now they become so sick over there. Because they destroy the river, they destroy themselves. And when the water is polluted, toxic, they eat, they drink, their body is also toxic. So in life, everything is deeply connected. So concern not only for yourself, concern for others. You smile for me, to be happy. It's time for us to be together, to take care of each other. The ego has separated us, away from each other. That's attachment to ego, our own judging mind. So this is a very deep insight. Remember that. So we stop creating suffering for each other. Non-duality. Birth and death is the same. We think that death is different from birth. Actually, birth is really death. And death is the moment of birth. We are very afraid of death, right? The deepest fear is death. But we know that death is actually the birth. If we don't live deeply, we already die. We die in our own suffering. You don't wait until, the stop breathing, the heart fail to beat, we die. No. We die when we don't practice, when we don't live deeply our life. And in the cell, every cell's million of cells die in order for million of cells to be able to be alive again. So birth and death are, very close connection. We are dying in every moment and we are rebirth every moment. We have to have this insight so that we can remove the fear of death. Don't wait until the moment of the last breath to do the practice. We have to see this, the nature of non-duality in life. Birth and death are not two. They are deeply connected. And if you don't live your life, you're already dead. I have cancer 4 years ago. I nearly died. So I went through the experience. And when you go through the experience, you appreciate life more. So it's a gift to have a cancer in my body. It's a gift for not to drag on, Like sometimes our life is just, we think that we live so long, so we dragging on. We just don't really wake up to the moment of life. You think, just enjoy. I live forever, so no hurry, and no need to, to take care of my life right now. But the moment of death helps you to be alive deeply, to wake up to life. So non-duality, remember that, the wisdom of the Buddha. This is the final wisdom. Enemies and friends are the same. Non-duality. They are lie in the heart, in the seat of your consciousness. They're not outside. Love and hatred is two phases of reality. Mindfulness and habit energy is two phases of reality. So we just flip in the door, you go to mindfulness. For me, mindfulness is the spiritual life where it's only clear mind and habitual energy, autopiloting is in the realm of emotional and intellectual life. So you just, sweep the door, you go to mindfulness. And it's so simple, just by the way of breathing in, and now walking, you already go back to the spiritual dimension. And there you are yourself. You know how to take care of your own life. You know how to transform the suffering, and you know how to experience the wonders of life. And you know the secret is nobody going to do that for you. Maybe you feel that our teacher is not here. You feel kind of a little bit empty here. But even the teacher cannot do that for you. The Buddha cannot do that to you. You have to do it yourself. So that's the beautiful thing about the Dharma, is to come and experience it. You don't depend on other people to do it for you. You don't depend on the Sangha to do that for you. The Sangha only supporting you. You have to work on this beautiful life, beautiful way of life. It's to go to mindfulness. Without mindfulness, we are too vulnerable to suffering. We go back to the place of strong emotion and a lot of idea and thought. We get stuck there forever. And the rest of our life, we stuck there. So make a lift, go to quantum level, spiritual life, where you have mindfulness. And the light beam out. The light of clarity beam out. So you recognize things, as they are. You understand what I'm saying? The last point is very important. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Enjoy your day.